Hi guys, major confirmation to bring you guys today. This was revealed by Judy McGill, subscriber on the channel, and she pointed out that on the left-hand side of the skeleton in the fireworks, there's actually the image of a pig. Now, some of you may be able to see it already. Now that it's been pointed out, I can see it pretty clearly. The mouth here, you've got the two nostrils here, which would be where the nose is. The eyes would be here. The ears would be up here. Now, some of you may not be able to see that, so I've done my best to try and make that a little bit clearer. So what I've done is I've just brightened it up a little bit, increased the size of it a little bit, increased the clarity of it a little bit. So hopefully you can see. But for those of you who still can't, even after this uh, emphasis has been put on it, I've done the lines, which I will show you, and then I'll take away so that you can hopefully see what we're now talking about. So thank you, Judy. I really, really appreciate that comment. Um, Even though I already had some pretty strong indications that this was referencing the Chinese New Year, the Chinese tanks like Tiananmen Square, the Korean Peninsula, no nuclear going on, and that's going on at the moment in real life. We then have this New Year. Obviously, we've gone past the New Year for us, but we still have the Chinese New Year. That's when the Year of the Dog ends, which is referenced at the very beginning of the video. And now we have a reference to a pig, which would indicate the Year of the Pig, which begins on when February the 4th ends and when February the 5th begins at that point in time. So the lines, here they are. Now, I'm not a very good drawer. I'm just basically trying to, or artist, I'm just trying to trace what I see. So now that's as basically as much as I could bring out for you guys. Obviously, it's not the best drawing of a pig, but now I'm going to take the lines away, and hopefully you guys will be able to see where those lines disappear, how it actually looks like a pig with these dots that they've used in the fireworks. And they've been clever about it because they put it on the pink side, which is obviously the most common color used for a pig, but they've also blended it with the purple firework that's exploding. So the pig is actually in the middle of the pink and the purple firework, but is obviously still color significant in terms of it actually being a pig. So let's take those lines away. Now, hopefully, you guys should still be able to see what was just shown. Obviously, because I've increased the clarity and stuff, it's a little bit blurry. You can see like it's getting into kind of like a pixelated view, but hopefully you can still see where the mouth goes down here, this kind of line of gap that they've got down here. You can still see where the nostrils are. Those are probably the most the easiest things to see. Once you've got the nostrils and you realize that this big gap here is basically the defining line of where the snout would be, then you can easily make out where the eyes would be, and you can easily make out where the ears would be. So one more time. So that's the year of the pig. February the 4th, February the 5th, that kind of time range, which gives me a stronger indication that other things are going to occur before that, which is putting us into February the 3rd, the 2nd, the 1st, the 31st of January, the 30th of January, um, and the 27th. Obviously, we're on the 26th today, so looking out for things happening today. The 28th I haven't mentioned just because I haven't found anything specific for that date. But obviously, if other things are occurring, it's possible that something could occur on that day as well. But my main focus, from what I can tell, is the 27th, looking out for a UK event of some kind that's listed in the last video. The 30th, Donald Trump. The 31st, Iran. February the 1st, volcanoes, tsunamis, EMP. Actually, because I can't definitively narrow down which events are occurring on which day when it comes to February. That's why I've just given you a February 1st to February 3rd time frame for the volcanoes, tsunamis, EMP, nuclear detonation. That's all Super Bowl, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, Wall Street, um, various other locations as well. So keeping all that in mind, and then we move on to February the 4th, where we get to the end of February the 4th, and it's the Chinese New Year, Year of the Pig, which we appear to have up in the fireworks behind this skeleton figure, which is on the Korean Peninsula. Chinese tanks coming forward, fireworks representing New Year. It all seems to coincide. And then you've got this swirling pattern on the chin, and I talked about the swirling pattern in the previous video, and how that could reference a winter cyclone. What I didn't think of was a polar vortex, which is basically what is coming down in the next week. So polar vortex to blast midwestern, northeastern US, also Europe as well, with extreme cold towards the end of January. So that's coming into the time frame where we're seeing that swirling pattern, all the snow, it's very cold, we've got all the other events going on. So you guys, it looks like the ipg2 video is real, and it was predicting events for this year, particularly around this time. The colder air plunging back into midwestern and northeastern United States through Saturday will pale in comparison to the brutal cold expected to end January as the polar vortex plunges south. Obviously, we know that a vortex is a swirling system, and obviously the polar gives it a reference to cold, so I think that's what the swirling patterns in this video are talking about. Through late next week, it will be a very cold stretch and high energy draw from the plains to the east coast, according to AccuWeather. While the current blast of Arctic air is expected to hold highs to the single digits and teens across most of the Midwest and the St. Lawrence Valley on Saturday, even harsher conditions can put more people and animals at risk for frostbite and hypothermia during the final days of January. And, you know, imagine if tsunami comes in that scenario. You've got no electricity because of an EMP. I mean, it literally is the combination of a massive amount of events that would cause a massive amount of death. It's that very bad day scenario that they were talking about, except that they didn't include a tsunami happening at the same time, volcanic eruptions happening at the same time, nuclear detonations, and a whole bunch of other things occurring around the same time. So if this is going to happen, then it's going to be the worst time for it to happen, when it's extremely cold. If there is a tsunami, as I say, the water would be extremely cold, so where some people might be able to survive the initial onslaught of a tsunami, it will be very difficult to survive in that type of temperature water, you know. So I hope nothing like that happens. But the polar vortex is expected to become displaced from the Arctic Circle and plunge down to near the upper Great Lakes. That will occur in the wake of the winter storm that may lay a swath of disruptive snow from the Midwest, Chicago included. And, you know, we've got the winter storm, and we've got the storm is coming, or you know, winter is coming rather. The calm before the storm, fear, all of that has been, you know, labeled out throughout this whole year. We've seen a lot of words used as subliminal messaging. And speaking of that, there's another term being used as subliminal messaging right now, cave-in. And this is in reference to Donald Trump agreeing with the Democrats to open the government and then negotiate a deal over border security and the wall. But the cave-in is over the wall. So I'm taking those two words, wall and cave. Now, the other term for cave is collapse, wall collapse. Now, we don't have a wall on the border in the sense that, you know, Donald Trump wants it. So I'm not thinking the wall collapsing there. Maybe we're talking about the wall in Israel. Remember how many times Donald Trump has said, oh, the wall, Israel built a wall and it works 99.9% of the time, which is obviously an upside down 666, and always referencing the Israeli war. And we know that war is coming to Israel. That's because it's it's biblically prophesied, so it's going to happen. We're seeing the situations increase in tensions over there with Iran and Syria saying that they want to retaliate against Israel for their latest attacks. And with the indications from ipg2 video, that may be coming within the next 5 days. So it could be a reference to the Jerusalem wall, or the Western wall, or the wall that goes around Israel collapsing as part of something else that happens. Now, there's obviously references to Israel being nuked as well, so if there is a nuclear detonation, that would obviously be something that could cause the wall to collapse. The other reference to wall collapsing is Wall Street collapsing, and obviously that connects with the markets plunging. Again, another reference we have in the ipg2 video. So I'm looking out for these terminologies that you're using: wall, cave-in, 99.9%, all those kind of things, and it's giving me an image of either a wall in Israel falling, Wall Street collapsing, and the last final subliminal message I think they've got for this one is literally the word cave. And obviously, cave is a structure that you go to, which is essentially either in a mountain or underground. And considering the events that we think are due to be coming in the next week, it would be an opportune time for the people in the know to go to their caves. As described in the Bible, these people flee into the caves, into the mountains, asking them to fall on them, save them from the wrath of God. So with all the manipulations of the Bible that's going on at the moment, another reference would be for them to, fulfill the part where the rich men, the free men, the all the men basically, and women, try and save themselves by going to underground caves, mountains, that kind of stuff. And I think that's another subliminal message that they're putting out there. Go to the caves. Wall Street's about to collapse. Israel's about to, go into a nuclear war, and everything else that we just talked about is potentially about to happen. Obviously, I do feel like this is a confirmation. Events that we have been talking about just over the last couple of weeks have started to unfold. So keep an eye on, well, I think the earliest event you can keep an eye out for is anything happening in the UK tomorrow. That one I'm not exactly confident on, but that's what appears to be there. So you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you again to all the subscribers who contribute and try and help towards this effort of deciphering this message that was released in 2012. It's taken us like 6 years to get there. Obviously, we didn't start in 2012, but it's taken a long time to actually have a lot of confidence in an interpretation, which I do have at this moment in time. Obviously, there's the possibility that nothing could happen, and that would be great. It would be so good. But I love you guys, to be honest. I just even I don't know what it is, but even the haters, I like reading their comments from people who don't believe in this kind of stuff, who think I'm crazy, or it's interesting because I don't want to block myself off from negative comments, but some of you will realize that I have deleted some comments because I won't accept like an outright attack on myself or on any other person who's commenting on my channel. I just don't think it's appropriate. We're all trying to help each other here, but I do read them. I read every single comment, and I do pay attention to them. They stick in the back of my mind. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Obviously there'll be more videos to come as I look around and see if there's more things connected to this ipg2 video. But the year of the pig, that's as major confirmation of a timeline as the year of the dog was. So thank you, Judy. Really appreciate you, and everyone else on the channel. May the Heavenly Father bless you.